8 a.m. and it's already scorching in Lisbon, but we are off to the Longevity Med Summit. And today we're going to meet some of these world-class experts and optimizers. Let's go.
The annual Longevity Med Summit brings in experts from every corner of the globe, or at least Europe. They're here to teach us how to add years to our lives and life to our years. I'm also here to find out how to do more specifically as a woman as part of our Female Longevity series. Broadly speaking, there are two categories of longevity experts, what I like to call the optimizers and the optimists. The optimists are people who believe that we will be able to live to 150 or maybe never die at all. At the other end of the spectrum, the optimizers are out in the field already, measuring and making improvements to people's health with a variety of novel tactics and tools. They do want to extend our lifespan, but not at the expense of our health span, the years in which we are functioning and healthy. And today we're going to meet some of these world-class optimizers at the Longevity Med Summit here in Lisbon. We have exclusive access to the summit, and we're going to pick some very smart brains about how to live a longer, healthier life as a woman. So let's get started. Our first speaker highlighted the challenges of adapting health recommendations for us women and our hormones.
Coming to female longevity, we also discovered that we are so unpredictable as women. Most of the recommendations that are very standardized in longevity sector, like metformin is good for you, or rapamycin is good for you, or intermittent fasting is good for you, actually doesn't work for many women the same way as for men. So, and a lot of those tests were actually done mainly on men, and very often 65 plus or 65 in the context of longevity. But many recommendations and interventions were actually not tested on women, and especially premenopause or menopause.
Next up, I was reminded that change starts when we ask questions about our own health and habits and start with the basics.
The real challenge is how to make millions of people change their lifestyles, and for that you need a different approach. You cannot have a medical approach for millions of people, because that's never going to happen, to be honest. Healthcare systems have other priorities still now. What you need is education. You need people to take responsibility and to start making changes. So the first step is, which is a very ancient philosophical approach, know yourself. And I think people don't ask enough questions about themselves. So they really don't know much about their biology. They know almost nothing about their psychology. The second aspect is that you have to start from the simple things. It's changing your habits and starting to introduce starting from the things that are clearly validated, and maybe worrying about the tiny little details later on,
Did you know the later you hit menopause, the longer you'll live?
If you are 44 and entering the menopause, your average age will be 67. If you're 49 entering menopause, it's 76. And if you're 55, you'll live to 86 or something like that. So what the idea of that is what can we do to understand and mitigate going into that period of time, which every woman goes into, of course. Mm-hmm. It's the essence of their fertility, but it's not the essence of their life. And if we can build those aspects through looking at the genetics, looking at the biomarkers, everything from hormones to digestive function to immune function, then they will be able to build this, what I call resilience. Mm-hmm. And it's so important for us to understand the resilience starts early. I think we have to stop the idea that the doctor owns your health, you own your health. One person, and you have a responsibility both to yourself, your family, but to the wider community to be well if you can. Mm-hmm. And if we can adapt these things, they're so easy. You won't be going to the doctor because you've got a disease. You'll be going to the doctor and say, "Doctor, I've been looking at my numbers, I'm functioning well here. What do we do here? Can you help me?" And the doctor translates that data perhaps and becomes your coach. So that's why the health coach concept is really interesting. But we need to support these people and help them be better and better.
One topic came up repeatedly throughout the summit, and that was hormone health for women. I was interested to know how to get my hormones properly tested.
What's interesting about the last few decades is that we have worked in an environment where we aimed to break the glass ceiling, to break the pay barrier, to work long hours, but also to have it all, right? To bring up the kids, to look after the elderly parents. And in many ways, in this sort of having it all, we ended up doing it all, right?
Too true.
And a lot of the women I see, it's quite typical that we are at the bottom of this priority list. So therefore, when you reach menopause, you're often quite depleted in energy. 40% of women in perimenopause have these mood changes, right?
40%.
So it's
This is scary. Scary. I'm not looking
it's
forward
not
to this.
rare, right?
Next, we heard why genetic testing is so important and why one particular gene, COMT, can tell us a lot about our female hormones.
If women could test their COMT, let's say when they were like 15, 16, they would long term, they would be able to make sure that they didn't set themselves up for diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's. Short term, a woman that was looking after her COMT would have less period pains, better monthly cycles, better concentration. And COMT doesn't only break down estrogen, COMT is breaking down dopamine, adrenaline, and also histamine. So if you have a woman that's gaining weight and she's got lots of allergies, you're like, have you tested your COMT?
And then we discussed tailoring our diet to our specific genes.
Nutrigenomics, well, there's epigenetics, which is genes are influenced by the environmental choices. And then there's nutrigenomics, which is you can change the way genes work by supplementing and getting the diet right. And so what we do is we literally we look at people's gene codes and we tailor and say, this is going to be the best diet based on your genes. Half the time it's the Mediterranean diet, by the way. So we tailor it, and whatever the diet can't do, the nutrigenomic approach, then we have to basically supplement.
I learnt we need to start thinking not only about what to eat, but when to eat.
It's not only what you eat, it's also very important how you eat and what you eat when. For example, that you do not eat raw food and fruit and salads in the evening because it will not be digested anymore. And this is influencing the quality of your sleep very much, and it is also influencing your metabolism, your night metabolism, where hormones are regenerating, which is very important. So not only what, but it is also important you eat when.
And while fasting isn't for everyone, it may just be the best and cheapest longevity hack we know of.
Fasting is really putting you in a state which is very helpful, and we really observe that many women who come, for instance, with symptoms of premenopause, this is very helpful for them. And when we talk about fasting, this is for us the best way to address longevity, because there's many technologies, hope with different programs, but when you look at any scientific studies, the best method for longevity, this is always fasting.
So why do we need longevity events like this?
One of the things that's really close to my heart is the fact that, unfortunately, at the moment, a lot of longevity is still quite elite, if you will. It is expensive, it's not widely accessible at the moment. However, there has been a massive movement towards investing into these technologies. And I think as we get more of this investment and people become more aware of the importance of these things, and when I say these things, I mean things like preventative medicine, precision medicine, not one size fits all. Every single human being is different. I'm different, you're different. We are women, they're men. So everyone is super different. And so we need to make sure that people become aware of this, because the more people are aware of it, the more we can lobby for it, the more we can get insurance companies and governmental bodies to actually put money towards it, so that we can make this something available to the masses as opposed to the few, which is what the current situation is, unfortunately. So I think one of the biggest challenges as a woman myself is that a lot of health is very male-centric. That's just a fact. Even when we think about medications that are tested on huge populations, majority of that population is men. And so many of the things that we have in healthcare and available to us tend to be more focused on the male phenotype. And actually what we want is an opportunity to help make sure that things that are specific to women, like menopause, like pregnancy, like a menstrual cycle, they also get enough attention and also research as well.
Longevity is a very good topic and a very good time, but they need to know, understanding what they can make it better for their patients. And they are looking always to learn more about new diagnoses, new information in order to take care of their patients. So this is our focus.
And lastly, the words that stuck with me: why finding our purpose may be the most important longevity exercise we undertake.
I think it's very important also question that we ask our clients is why do they want to live to 100? And if they think they would like to live to 100 or beyond, to really do a good plan, and also to do a plan of what you want to do in the next few years, and then how to design your life. And also you have to really enjoy the process, and I think this is very important.
The Longevity Med Summit was an eye-opener for me. It's amazing how much we're learning about what it takes to be a woman, to live not just longer lives, but better ones. The biggest message I took away: you're in charge of your own health. It's not about overhauling your entire life overnight. Start small, stay curious, and listen to your body. The journey to female longevity isn't just about living longer, it's about feeling great every step of the way.